On July 23, 2025, the music world lost a titan whose guitar riffs and songwriting genius helped define rock for over 6 decades. George Jan Kooymans, the heart and soul of the Dutch rock band Golden Earring, passed away at the age of 77, known for penning the iconic Twilight Zone and co-founding one of the Netherlands' most enduring bands. George's life was a testament to raw talent, resilience, and a deep love for music. His death, following a 4-year battle with amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, left fans across the globe in mourning, with tributes on X from users like @DutchNews and @Confucius, calling him a beautiful man and the musical force behind Golden Earring. From his humble beginnings in The Hague to global success with hits like Radar Love, George's journey was one of passion, creativity, and quiet strength. Today we dive into George Kooymans' cause of death, age, family, net worth, lifestyle, and biography to celebrate a man whose music continues to echo in the hearts of millions. Born on March 11, 1948 in The Hague, Netherlands, George grew up in a working-class neighborhood where music was a rare luxury, but his passion for it burned bright from an early age. Raised by his parents alongside his siblings, George found inspiration in his cousin Wim Fox, a musician who lived across the street and introduced him to the guitar. At just 13 in 1961, George formed a rock duo with his neighbor Rinus Gerritsen, a bassist who would become his lifelong bandmate and brother-in-law. They called themselves the Tornadoes, only to rename the group the Golden Earrings after learning of a British band with the same name. The name came from an instrumental by the Hunters, a group they opened for, and it marked the start of a journey that would make history. George's childhood was modest, shaped by the post-war grit of The Hague, where he honed his craft in local clubs, driven by a love for rock and roll and influences like the Beatles and the Rolling Stones. By 1965, at 17, he was already a rising star with the Golden Earrings debut single, Please Go, climbing the Dutch charts a moment George later called the spark that lit everything in a 2018 interview. The Golden Earrings, later shortened to Golden Earring, became a sensation in the Netherlands with their pop-rock sound driven by George's songwriting and guitar prowess, along with lead singer Frans Krasenberg and drummer Jaap Egermont. They scored hits like That Day in 1966. But it was the arrival of singer Barry Hay in 1967 and drummer Cesar Zuderregic in 1970 that solidified the classic lineup. George's vision transformed the band into a hard rock powerhouse. Their 1973 album featuring the timeless Radar Love brought international fame. The song, written by George with lyrics by Hay, hit number 13 on the US Billboard Hot 100 and topped charts in Europe, becoming a rock anthem covered by bands like U2. In 1982, George penned Twilight Zone, inspired by Robert Ludlum's The Bourne Identity, which became Golden Earring's only US top 10 hit, reaching number 1 on the Billboard Top Album Tracks chart. His ability to craft melodies that were both gritty and cinematic made him the band's creative backbone. As Hay noted in a 2021 interview, George was the engine. Without him, we were just parts. George's influence extended far beyond Golden Earring. A prolific songwriter and producer, he discovered and nurtured talents like Earth and Fire, writing their 1970 hit Seasons, which reached number 2 in the Netherlands and number 3 in Japan, selling over 200,000 copies. He wrote for artists like Patricia Paye Crafting, Tell Me You're Never Going to Leave Me. In 1970, in Four Hearts of Soul with Fat Jack, his 1972 hit It's Going to Be Alright. For Smile and contributions to Kinderen, for Kinderen's For Ein Vlam, showcased his versatility. In the 1990s, George and Barry Hay discovered Anouk, producing her multi-platinum debut together alone in 1997 at George's studio in Reckevorso, Belgium, a project that became the best-selling debut album of that year. His production work included albums for Herman Brood, New Adventures, and The Grinders, earning him a reputation as a mentor to Dutch artists. In 2017 and 2018, he joined forces with Henny Vrienden and Du Maar in the Dutch-language supergroup Vreemd Koostgangers, releasing 2 albums that showed his willingness to explore new sounds of singing in Dutch for the first time. A move fans on X like at Polarcyclist called a gift to our culture. George's personal life was a quiet counterpoint to his rockstar career. In 1969, at 21, he married Melanie Gerritsen, is the younger sister of bandmate Rinus Gerritsen, forging a bond that lasted over 5 decades. Together, they raised 2 children, daughter Cassie, born in 1986, and son Kid, born in 1982, and welcomed 3 grandchildren. Melanie was his rock, supporting him through the highs of global tours and the lows of his later health struggles. The family settled in Recavorsel, Belgium, near the Dutch border in the early 1970s, choosing peaceful life over a planned move to the U.S. George's home was a reflection of his eclectic passions. Pig and peacocks roamed the grounds, and he spent his free time gardening, cooking, and restoring motorbikes, a hobby that inspired the artwork for his 1987 solo album, Solo. "I'm a Dutchman at heart, but Belgium gave me space to breathe," he told a local paper in 2015. His love for his family was evident in his rare interviews, where he spoke of Cassie's art and Kid's music with pride, and fans on X, like at Frank Wonk, noted his humility despite his genius. Golden Earring's career was a marathon with over 40 hits, 30 gold and platinum albums in the Netherlands, and millions sold worldwide. Albums like Moonton Cut and NEWS showcased George's ability to evolve, blending rock with new wave and psychedelia while staying true to the band's raw energy. Their live performances, from Amsterdam's theater in 1975 to London's Shepherd's Bush Empire in 2009, were legendary. With George's guitar work played on a Gibson Les Paul Fender Stratocaster, or Gretsch. 6119, described as subtle yet ferocious by a fan on X, his solo albums JoJo in 1971 and Solo in 1987 reached the Dutch charts, while his 2010 collaboration with Frank Carrillo and 2022's Mirage showed his enduring creativity. The 2022 release of Seasons as a solo track, originally written for Earth and Fire, was a poignant full-circle moment, with fans calling it a love letter to his legacy on X. His 1969 Zilveren Harp and 2012 Eddie Christiani Award honored his contributions to Dutch music. And in 2023, Recavorsel named him an Honoré Cedicena, rare accolade for a private man. In February 2021, George's world changed when he was diagnosed with ALS, a progressive neuromuscular disease that robbed him of his ability to play guitar and perform. The announcement, shared with fans after months of speculation, led to Golden Earring's disbandment, as the band George Barry Hay, Rinus Gerritsen, and Cesar Zuderich refused to continue without him. "We're a brotherhood, not a business," Hay said in a press release, a sentiment echoed by Zuderwij, who called George the toughest of us all. The band's final show at Rotterdam's Ahoy in 2019 became their unintended farewell, a night Hay described as electric with family and friends. On March 11, 2021, Dutch and Belgian radio stations, including Radio Veronica and NPO Radio 2, played Radar Love at 5:15 p.m. to honor George. A moment fans on X, like at Nocturnal Valky, called a nation's goodbye. George retreated from public life, focusing on his family and treatment in Belgium, where he lived quietly supported by Melanie and their children. George Kooymans passed away on July 23, 2025, at his home in Recavorsel, surrounded by Melanie, Cassie, Kid, and his grandchildren. His death, attributed to complications from ALS, was announced by the band's attorney with a statement calling him a great musician and composer, a beloved husband, father, grandfather, and friend. The ALS Netherlands Foundation's director Limmer Noach expressed condolences, noting George's courage in facing the disease. Tributes flooded X, with @Real Sevenson mourning the loss of a true rock pioneer, alongside other legends like Ozzy Osbourne, and its Scoopy Own, praising the band's loyalty and disbanding rather than replacing him. Zuderich, in a heartfelt statement, said, "I played with him for 50 years. It was the best time of my life." Reflecting on their shared journey, fans shared memories of George's performances, from the smoky stages of the 1970s to his soulful solos at Park Pop in 1995, with one X-user recalling his guitar in Twilight Zone felt like it could pierce your soul. George's lifestyle was a blend of rock star energy and grounded simplicity, with an estimated net worth of $3 million to $10 million built through Golden Earrings, success solo work, and production for artists like Anouk. He lived comfortably, but not extravagantly. His Recavorsel home, where he raised his family, was filled with guitars, motorbike memorabilia, and gardening tools, reflecting his love for nature and craftsmanship. He was known for cooking traditional Dutch dishes for his family, often joking about his secret pea soup recipe in rare interviews. His passion for motorbikes led to a collection of restored classics, and he once said riding and playing guitar both make you feel free. Despite his wealth, George remained a private man, avoiding the spotlight and focusing on his music and family.